Good morning.
Good morning, Kristen.
Happy hump day.
Yes, we picked hump day for a reason for these, I think.
Yeah.
Get us over the hump.
Get us over the hump. Halfway there, halfway done.
Oh my gosh, I was driving in today. You always get to hear my driving in stories.
I know.
Because I do all my thinking in the car, which is not good or bad. But I was listening to, I think it was KNIX this morning, and Tim was telling Brooke this hilarious story, and I know you and I can relate because I remember one time we were sitting in my car, and I think you were admiring a purse I had.
Oh, yeah.
You never said anything out loud.
Nope.
Never said nothing. You never even said nice purse.
I just checking it out.
And then you opened up your phone, and sure enough, there was a picture of my purse they were trying to sell you.
On Instagram.
And we could not come to fathom how that happened.
I mean, I told you the other day, I'm pretty sure that all products are going to have some sort of like little stitched in sensor. So when people come near them, it can sell them.
Well, listen to the story. That's why it's so funny, because we already know that everything listens to us. Yeah. I say, would you like Chinese for lunch? And next thing you know, I'm getting 45 Chinese restaurants sending me advertisements. So this one was even crazier than that. Tim was saying that he had come out to his truck in the morning, and I may be paraphrasing, so if Tim's listening, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
Yeah.
But he said he found a crack in his windshield. He said he had no idea how it got there, but it was there. He's like, I didn't say anything. He's like, I was just thinking to myself, wonder what happened overnight. Got this crack in my windshield. Lo and behold, 2 seconds later, he gets a text message from windshield repair company saying, if you have any cracks in your windshield, let us know. And it was a text message.
It's freaking weird coincidence.
So, weird coincidence, right? Except he happened again in another car, his smart car, I guess his electric car. He said he was driving, splat, like rock hit the windshield, big crack in the windshield. He said 10 seconds later he got a text message again. So we couldn't believe that was a coincidence now. Now, that's like a whole new level of...
We're reading our minds.
I don't know what to call it. It was crazy to me. Yeah. But, it's interesting to see how fast information and technology is moving along, which kind of brings us to today's podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
We wanted to talk about this new community-based platform that is kind of rising up pretty rapidly out there. And I've found it quite interesting myself. You've seen me dive headfirst in and get kind of consumed, but it's this platform called Skool. Skool with a K. Skool. If you haven't heard of it, highly suggest you go check it out. And I think it was a brilliant name they gave it too, because I love walking around going, I'm going back to school.
Yep.
So, but what's interesting about it, it's not just like Facebook communities and all these groups that are out there and you don't know what kind of people are in there. You join this community, and inside the platform there's different schools. You can open your own school, and it's basically a community-driven thing. So you could pick a topic, and there's lots of crazy topics on there.
Education-based though, right?
Education-based. It could be, actually, there's some on there for humor and comedy and all kinds of crazy things that people think of. And basically, you join these communities. Some are free then paid for different types of content because they have courses and stuff like that.
Right.
But I really thought it was really interesting, and I saw a lot of valuable stuff on there. So we decided
to make another branch of Basque.
Yeah.
And create our own school community called Dollars and Deductions. And it's been really fun so far. We're kind of, you more so, are just diving straight into the deep end. And we're trying to create another educational arm in addition to our podcast here, where people can find relative information that's pertinent to them, right?
And resources and like-minded people. And I think the like-minded people are really key because most people aren't going to join these groups unless it's something they're interested in.
Right. Or, it's what they're looking for or what they're seeking out in general.
Yeah. So it's a nice way to get information out and know that the people there are all there for the same reason, that they have a safe place, safe forum to ask questions,
Collaborate.
and collaborate. We can provide good resources for people to do things on their own and learn and get accustomed to. All of the things. Ours is really focused on, as we say, dollars and deductions. It's on accounting, small business growth, tax planning, tax saving strategies, all of those kinds of things that small business owners, we feel, need more information on. And I know in our path that we've taken through even just our business, we've found that a lot of business owners, especially the smaller starting up ones or people new to business, are really shy to come ask for help. And not only shy, they're almost embarrassed.
Yeah, like super hesitant. Like any question that they ask is definitely the wrong question, or that's not how I mean it, and it's, I mean, anywhere, any question you ask will lead down a road, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to kind of be a welcoming experience on Skool. And it reminds me a lot of like the kind of, I don't know if you're on X, which used to be Twitter, but it's a very like discussion driven forum now.
Well, Basque is on X now, so we are implementing some of that as well. Yeah, I think I have the biggest mental block when it comes to Twitter, X, and its usefulness and stuff like that. And I think it's good to get conversation starters going and stuff like that.
There's a lot of other discussion forums, like think about Reddit and you think about all these other ones that are discussion forum, but Skool is really what I've been able to experience so far is very niche. Like people are creating their own little communities that fit their niche and what they can help serve the community. So like for ours, we're reeling in our podcast, we're giving different situations on like, you know, educational credits, or let's think about these type of deductions that can help round out what we're trying to do as a whole. Going into different sectors and trying to invite people to be like, I'll take your questions. Anything you have a question on in this sort of scenario, like I'll do it. And we've had some collaboration. And I think as we grow, we'll get a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think it's going to be a game changer in a lot of ways for small businesses. I feel like the information that you're going to get, especially in some of these communities, is more trustworthy. The people building them out. I kind of liken it to, if you guys have all been on Masterclass. Have you ever checked out Masterclass? Yeah. I kind of liken it to the not amateur version, but like more the toned down for the rest of us version of Masterclass. And hence we're in school. We're not masters yet, but we are. But we're trying to share with everyone else. And in our community, which is a completely free community for right now, as we're continuing to grow and build content and see what the community wants to hear from us. What are the things they want to hear? Sometimes it's just validation. I've seen a couple of posts on our thing already where it's just been a validation. I saw this, but let me ask you, is this really, something that, as a business owner I can do, and having not feel bad about asking those questions and have, that where we can respond to them.
Totally.
So I do think it's going to be a game changer for small business, and it doesn't mean just accounting and tax. It could be for any aspect, digital media, marketing,
organization,
anything. We've seen so many different things on there. It's been, I'm finding it very interesting coming from the social media hater. Yeah. I think it's pretty neat.
We're actually a part of a few Facebook groups online, like tax preparer Facebook groups and stuff like that. And there are so many people that have even been in the business of our business for a really long time that still seek out guidance and suggestions. I think I see between 5 to 10 times a day where people are like, well, what tax software are you using? Is it working? How does it work with this? How does it work for the influx of your clients? Is there something better out there? And we see it a lot in the community that we use for our CRM software. People are always asking, what more can it do? And it's inviting to the people who are already in the business as well to get an idea of what we're doing too.
Exactly. Yeah. And I do. I think it's going to be a fun new adventure. So we have, as you mentioned, launched our school in this community called Dollars and Deductions. We wanted to give it a nice, soft name that doesn't scare people away, like words like accounting and taxes and IRS and those scary words. Because really what we want to talk about are dollars, so your finances that go, could be capital questions, but any type of finance related questions, cash flow management and stuff for your business, and then deductions, alluding to what kinds of things can we do in our business to manage our tax liability, reduce our tax liability, and all of those kinds of things. And it's just a simplistic way of encouraging the community to come together and share those resources and education.
Yeah. And another thing we're trying to hit on, which I think is going to attract the most amount of people, I don't mean attract, but welcome the most amount of people, is talking about the pain points that a lot of business owners go through, right? We definitely want to hear about everyone's successes or getting going and making sure you're keeping the boat afloat, but people also want to talk about the situations where, they might have, skipped a step and tripped, and they talked about, how they had to do 5 years of back taxes, or what's the best way to do it, or I'm in the middle of an audit, what advice can you give? So talking about those pain points about, taxes, being unorganized, getting prepared, tax planning. I didn't tax plan, and here's the situation I'm in now. What can I do? I think that's where we're going to see the most firsthand communication come through when people are like, yeah, I'm in this situation. Any advice can you give me?
Right. And know that you're going to get sounder advice. And I think that's, what's going to make our community different on this platform, I think, than maybe a lot of other types of education. And there's lots of ways to get education. There's true school, universities, online courses, there's all sorts of things. But the idea is to present it in a much more, I should say, much less intimidating way. We are going to do some fun things in our community, have some fun game going on with how we deliver information.
I think you said that we were going to do like live webinars and stuff like that. So it's a very Q&A. People can do Q&As about certain topics, stuff like that.
We talked about like having a coffee time or happy hour, or having once a month type of call-ins where people can call in and we can have a more like, not face-to-face, but Zoom can do wonders for that kind of thing, where you can feel and see the people that you're working with, and that they can ask open questions. Yeah,
and we do that. It'll kind of remind me of how we have to do like our continuing education. They'll give us a lot of information. They'll go through very detailed stuff, but at the end, the people get to take away their specific questions and apply it to themselves. So doing those live Zoom calls and being like, hey, this is what we're talking about today. We're going to cover from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and any questions you have at the end that you want to apply to this situation or get a little bit more detailed, we're going to ask them at the end.
Exactly.
And I think that's super helpful because people can, it's hard for me especially to just take a literature of something and, digest it. So when people explain it, giving you real world ideas, I like the fancy little pictures and graphics and Venn diagram stuff. That helps me learn.
Yeah.
So when people are doing it live and explaining it more out of, a more sounder level, then they can be able to interact more with us.
So it's neat. So we've had some preliminary conversations even with some of our clients and stuff that really love the idea. So when we asked ourselves as we were starting to plan this out, who is our community for? Who do we want to get involved?
Right.
We are thinking about, obviously, small business owners. We work with a lot of small businesses currently, and there's lots and lots more out there. We know that's the backbone of our economy. But other people too, freelancers, hobbyists that are trying to turn what they love to do into a business. Anybody that just wants to have maybe a deeper understanding of what it takes to run a business, or they could have a question about anything because they haven't even started out yet.
True.
So these are the community people we want to bring in and use our reputation and our knowledge and expertise to help get the information out there,
Right.
have the conversations.
Even the people who are very seasoned business owners, times have changed so much. And I have the conversation, I would say multiple times a week, about people who've been running their business for forever. And I'm like, hey, but have you heard about this? This is a very different flow of how business can go, and it could make you more productive, or it could help you do this, or what about shifting your employees and doing this, it's not I know, what's that saying about teaching old dogs new tricks? It's painful, but old dogs can learn new tricks.
They can. My puppies can.
Yep. So
they don't listen though, so maybe they can't.
And they bark. They bark.
Gosh. Yes, but we love the people that you're referring to, these business owners that have been doing things, in business 5-10 years, and we've watched them grow from, little baby companies to multi-million-dollar companies. They have their own struggles. I know I talk to people a lot that we work with, and they're growing very rapidly, and we're like, hold on.
Yeah.
You can grow so fast, you can put yourself out of business, and that is a fact.
Yeah.
So there's a whole different set of challenges through growth and cash flow and all those types of things too. So we really do feel like the community is going to be good for a nice variety of wherever you are in different places of, either not forming a business, want more information on forming a business, how to run it, how to manage all the tax implications of running a business, and the finances, cash flow, all of those things.
Right. Yeah. And I think most of the time people, and I think about it all the time, just because you know something doesn't mean that you can't further dive into it, right? Sometimes you just know the tiny little tip of the iceberg. You're like, oh yeah, I know about that deduction. Once you really dive into tax code, or you do something, or you get a lot of information that's more pertinent to your situation, it might open up your eyes to a different,
and like we've seen too, implementation of those ideas are not as obvious always as these simple tax strategies appear to be, because compliance really carries a heavy stick with the IRS, and we want to make sure that if you're going to leverage these types of things, you know how to stay in compliance so that they stick.
Yeah. And a lot of the things that school says that's very helpful is also a networking tool. They say that, you're going to learn a ton. There's going to be so much education. You're going to find a community that you can rely on, whatever. But think about the networking, right? Think about how many people you're going to meet that, we're tax and accountant, advisors. But what if a financial guy jumps in and he's talking about his situation, but someone that's listening be like, wait, I've actually been looking for someone in finance that deals specifically in crypto. And then they, so.
We've seen stranger things happen on how people connect. So I do think that that's an amazing byproduct of what can happen inside school. And I think it's really about the leveraging of really good, solid information, and knowing that your community is being built on like-minded people with different knowledge in different areas.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's going to be good. I mean, I for sure look forward to not just what I can bring to the table and help, with small business owners, but the people I'm going to be able to meet too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've already joined a few school platforms myself, finding just interesting the way different people run them differently, and mostly topics that I'm interested in, but there's some funny stuff in there too. But but I think this is going to be a really good resource for business owners and the like going forward, to find good information and have a good resource for them to deal with. Yeah.
So tell me, I didn't set up the school. You've done all the hard work, all that stuff. How do you get set up? How do you get joining? What are the first steps of trying to, get from the ground up in school?
Well, if you want to get on school, you can just go to skool.com, or you can Google that. I'm sure it'll come right up. Set up a profile and start poking around and looking at all the different opportunities or schools that are in communities that have already been built. If you're looking for us, obviously you can find us under Dollars and Deductions, and joining our community is free, as are quite a few. But you could be doing in one school for business and then find something, I've seen some really interesting fitness ones on there and stuff like that.
I saw when I was looking, there was a ton of like social media marketing that was super cool.
Yeah, and helpful, because that stuff's one of those areas too. I find it gets really convoluted, a lot like ours. Lots of conflicting information. So, but getting started is super easy.
Do you search like? Is it just like in the community you search like what you're looking for?
Yeah, they have different categories like business, recreation. I don't remember what all the categories were. Music. There's
tons of things.
Dozens of different categories. So you can, sift through and scroll through all the different communities that are there.
Yeah. What was the difference between the free platform that you can join, scroll around, between the other premium offerings?
Well, school itself is free. Unless you want to build a school. But so joining, getting on there, building yourself a profile and joining a community doesn't cost you anything unless that community is a paid community. So inside school, there are free communities.
Like ours.
Yes. And there are free then paid with premium content or coursework. I've seen people do, it's a free community, but their courses that they offer, the more detailed information or one-on-one sessions have a monthly fee attached to it, something nominal. But still finding that those are really worth every penny. I came across one for a lawyer the other day that was really interesting. Basically positioning himself almost like a legal Zoom in a box for business.
Oh, okay.
Where I don't remember what the fee was a month, $99 a month, and they have all these free templates on there and courses. It's all available if you pay the fee. Plus you can have a certain amount of time with the attorney to ask questions.
I think I saw that, like you get a credit every month.
It was really interesting, and I'm like, wow, that's a really neat way to, because it's more personable to me than like LegalZoom or anything, which not a fan of,
right?
Because it's just too diluted. So I found that was really interesting. Now he's not a free community at all. That's paid only, but I think it's still fascinating the way people are looking at the way they're disseminating their knowledge and their information.
Right.
So for us, we wanted a community to promote different people coming from different areas to have a discussion and stuff and have that safety net. So our community base is free. Down the road, as we build out and see what the community wants, what are they needing as opposed to what I want to give you, we will build out that content and likely have a similar type of platform where there is going to be some paid type of content in there. But right now we're looking at just our free. Let's build the community, let's build the space, let's get the knowledge out there. Yeah,
we're also trying to get our feet under us to see what we like promoting as well. Yeah. Sometimes when you like force yourself into, we're going to give this, we're going to do this, it doesn't feel natural, and we want to make sure that our community is very welcoming, all that stuff.
So if you are on school and you haven't checked us out, check us out. Join, it's a free community. We're in the early stages. So if you participate, send us messages, tell us what you want to learn, ask the questions.
I actually don't know what our URL is, but I'm sure it's school.com/dollars and deductions.
I don't think so, because they have some sort of funky numbers, something at the end of it, but you can find us, and if you're just reach out, we can always send you a link or an invite for sure. But I think that's going to be a great new path and journey that we're going to be taking here and trying to spread knowledge. And
so not only can you find us on YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, all that good stuff, we're going to find ourselves a lot on the school community, hoping to promote and create a new educational school with a K to help everyone out.
Can we make that with our fingers?
No, I think that's the sign language K.
Okay, K.
This way.
I don't know. I'm left-handed. Everything's opposite, so whatever.
Yeah. But we appreciate you coming in on our podcast. I don't know where we're at, episode 10.
I don't know. But next week, we have a very interesting guest coming.
We do.
For a small business. He is a payroll specialist.
Yep.
And we are having him on here to just talk about another one of those topics that I think everybody's got a question on, or it sounds so simple or so easy, and blah, 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 but the complexities of it all and what goes into it and implications and all that. And it's actually quite fascinating if you...
Yeah. Well, I think more often than not, people are with like a 10-foot pole. Like, there's some things in payroll, I'm like, you got to go ask a professional.
Yeah.
Every state's different, all these things. Like, sometimes you just got to leave it to the professional. That's what he's going to do for us.
Yeah.
He's going to hop on, get through the intricacies, what he's seeing in the payroll world. We see every year there's new payroll rules, literature, and we got a new president coming. So we might see new laws that are pertinent to payroll.
Absolutely. So join us next week for that. Should be quite fun and entertaining. And
see you next time on the Tax Sisters.
Thank you.